I'm a little bit confused by my map, but I think this is the Plaza Europa, and we're just heading off towards the Palace de la Aljafería, Cortes de Aragón, which apparently is a very interesting, nice palace somewhere just up here. So, yes, as I say, I think this is the Plaza de Europa. Not 100% sure, but that's what my map seems to say. And you can't go wrong by trusting a map. Alright, I was beginning to think I'd been misdirected by the sign, the road sign, but there it is. There's the palace. The palace at Aljafería. No, sure it's very different. I'm sure it's pronounced very differently in Spanish. But there we go, above the trees, so we'll head on towards it. Right, looks like he's got some nice parkland around it, this palace. So let's continue on and see what we can find. I do like a bit of medieval history. But if you've watched this channel, you'll realise that already. I'm assuming this is the moat. It looks very much like a moat with a bridge over for when it's full of water. Although that bridge looks a bit permanent. I mean, I suppose it's narrow, so I presume it's going to be relatively easy to defend. But it doesn't look like... I mean, it may have had a drawbridge many years ago, I suppose. I'm certainly not an expert on the architecture of castles or palaces. But it's a beautiful building. And here it is. And here it is, right in the heart of Zaragoza. The new modern city is built up around it. A bit like the Tower of London. I was telling a Mexican chap who's staying in the same digs as me about the Tower of London. He'd never even heard of it, which it's a bit, I suppose it's a bit, it's a bit, what the word, I'm not sure, but it's a bit, why should a Mexican have heard of the Tower of London? I don't know. I don't know the famous buildings in Mexico City. So, but anyway, I was explaining to him about the Tower of London and how it's amazing that it has survived in the middle of central London. So many other palaces, the Savoy, Whitehall, etc., had long gone. And there we are. Oh, look, the moat's been turned into sort of little garden. You can see there the trees. Is that a palm tree there, that smaller one? I'm not sure. I was hearing the other day about how the palm trees aren't native to Spain. They were brought here by the Muslims. Apparently also for oranges and lemons and limes, etc. as well, apparently are imports. Someone may correct me if I'm wrong on that, but they're not native to Spain. So you have a more modern bit here. Certainly that section there is very modern. So I'm not sure about this back bit, whether it was built new or whether it was old building repaired. Really not sure. But there you go. Oh, lovely old turret there. The signs of building work as always. I really don't think you can go anywhere in Spain without building work going on, which is a good thing, especially on a historic building. The fact that they're repairing historic buildings is maintaining them is good. Very, very good. Very, very good. I sound a bit patronising there, don't I? But I don't mean it to be. I mean, you know, it applies everywhere. You know, all these buildings, we can't keep everything, obviously. We can't keep everything. We have to move on. Can't keep everything from the past. We have to be selective. But the buildings we keep, you know, the best of the best, if we maintain them. You know, as I said, in London, you know, we've got the great treasure of the Tower of London, and then further west we've got Windsor Castle and Hampton Court and so on. So yes, modern part there, which looks like it's offices. Looks like it's currently used as offices. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Don't know if there's a sign telling us. Cut off there as we went past the the security guards. I didn't want them to think I was filming them. There we are again, down into the moat. And this is around the modern part, so maybe this bit was... I'll have to investigate. I'll investigate and put stuff down below if any information I've got or on the screen, because I'm a bit intrigued as to why within the moat there is this modern section. This tower, again, not being an architectural historian, I can't really date. It looks like a pretty modern copy of something. It looks like a modern building trying to look old. But I'm sure someone will correct me on that. Down in the moat again. I'm assuming this is a moat. I mean, it's lower and it's between two walls, and I'm guessing, so here we are. It all seems to be modern around here, around the back. I'll keep walking around and see if we can get back to the earlier. But yeah, that moat looks almost... I keep going on about the moat, don't I? That moat looks almost wasted. It could you make a lovely little place. You know, you could sit for the garden. You know, if I was the commercial manager, I'd be thinking of maybe putting in, you know, a little coffee stand and coffee and cakes, and people could sit down there. Looks like a lovely little refuge down there. So if we come round the corner of the modern section, we got this beautiful line of trees, absolutely beautiful. I mean, I'm not sure what tree they are, how large they'll get, but they're beautiful. They've presumably all been planted at the same time. And right, so back to the castle, and we can see, yeah, there's the modern section, as I say, or what appears to me to be the modern section. And then we've got this tower in the middle, which certainly is looking its age. Yeah, looks like it's even got a few battle scars, maybe. I don't know. Oh, and we've got a... There we are. Let's get under the trees. I think we'll get a slightly better view from under the trees, strangely enough. It doesn't look it. My view is covered by the trees, but it seems the camera is picking up this castle nicely. So another look at this moat. Oh. Now there's what looks like a magpie down there. Now I was speaking to a Spanish woman, and she was asking me about the birds of England, and I mentioned magpies, and she'd never heard of them, and so presumably they've got a completely different name here. I'll have to look that up later. Anyway, I digress, as I always do. And here we got the lovely tower under the trees. From under the trees, nice. Again, you can tell how little I know about architecture. That piece along there looks decidedly Italian, but I think this east coast of Spain, you know, sort of Alicante up to Barcelona, it does seem to have a strong Italian influence, which is not surprising, just across the Mediterranean and many islands, you know, hopping islands that you can hop across. the Balearics and Sardinia and Corsica and all the rest of it. So it wouldn't be surprising if there was a strong Italian influence. But yeah, this is a beautiful castle. I'm a bit puzzled, as I say, by the rear section, what's happened there, but I'll investigate that later and put something in the notes below or a voiceover. But yeah, walk through the trees we go, and there's the tower. There's the tower standing proud. As I was saying earlier, it appears to me to be more of a castle than a palace. But as I say, that's based on the simple, almost childlike definition I was given, that the more defensive it is, the more it's a castle. The more homely it is, the more it's a palace. That's what I was told when I first got interested in medieval history. But that was how you defined. It was a spectrum. I suppose that's the word you'd use. But yeah, there's a nice. Here we are, the view of the front of the castle. As I said, building work there, as always in Spain. Everywhere you go, there's building work. So it's not a bad sign. I don't know if there's anything to do with the EU, maybe funding from the EU or what, I don't know. But yeah. So yeah, there you go. Let's go back round to the front. Let's go back round to the front, see if we can find a bit of shade to sit in and view the castle at my leisure, or at my leisure, as some of you may prefer. But yeah, there we are. And a bit of shade. And there we are. The castle, or the palace. The castle of the palace, Aljafería, it's called. Aljafería, the guide tells me it's called. I think it has a longer title than that. But yeah, it certainly looks like a grand building from here. We'll have a look round and I'll see. Zaragoza really is. It's a beautiful city. Really like the other Spanish cities I've visited, and I suppose like most modern, cities. It's got its modern and its medieval, but also the reason I was filming here is you can just turn around a corner, in an urban area, and suddenly you come across a park like this. I'm just walking from A to B, and just come across this park. Didn't even know it was here. Beautiful. I wonder if this is the grounds of the old palace, because we've got the river towards our right and we've got the palace towards our left, just coming up there beyond the trees. So my first guess is, I don't know what this park is called, but maybe that's it. Maybe it's the old grounds of the castle. Who's to say? But yes, so I'm heading back to the castle. I was there yesterday. I'm going to go inside this time and pay my admission fee. Right, here we are at Aljafería Palace, here in the heart of Zaragoza. Beautiful old palace. We got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 towers at the front here. The rear of the castle appears to be more modern. It looks like, I don't know whether buildings have been built on the back or they've replaced earlier buildings, but I'll look into that maybe later. But yeah, beautiful looking palace. So I'm going to go inside and have a look around. Not sure yet whether you can film inside or not. Some of these places in Zaragoza are quite happy for you to do so, and others aren't. So we'll see when we get in there. Should at least be able to take a few photos. So yeah, let's go inside and see what we've got. got a bit of a mental block here. I keep forgetting the name of the palace. It's the Palace Aljafería. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, Aljafería. So we're here in Zaragoza, in Aragon. Let's just do a quick spin of the courtyard. It's a very small palace actually. It's much smaller, well it appears to be much smaller inside from this courtyard than it looks outside. Yeah, beautiful palace. I can see already what look to be Muslim influences and later Christian influences. Gateways, there seems to be quite a lot of repair, gateways repaired and that sort of thing. I'll get some still photos as well to overlay to make it a bit more visible. But yeah, it looks like quite a nice palace. Small, a bijou palace. Here we are at the central courtyard of the palace. Beautiful palace here. We'll just walk around, the sun may. Just going to walk around. Beautiful architecture, a beautiful garden here. Offers a little oasis out of the city really. Just a minute, it's just to look at that beautiful carving. Through here. Looks like we're not allowed to walk all the way around, but never mind. We'll get a good half view here. It's a very confused building. As I said in other videos that you may or may not have seen, I'm not an expert on architecture and certainly not on medieval architecture, but this building seems to be a very much a mix, obviously mainly of Muslim and Christian, but also an awful lot of modern. And yeah, here we are, the central courtyard, and this beautiful gate here. And let's go back to this beautiful gate here. It's got the modern glass within it, but still a beautiful gate. There we go. Wonderful. In this courtyard of the palace with the lovely fruit trees. Here we are a little bit closer to the castle here, get some good shots of the towers here. Yeah, in this bright sunshine. Beautiful day. Started off a very grey day here in Spain, but it's here in Zaragoza, but it's brightened up now, and yeah, beautiful day. So let's head off and get some lunch. We've got some very elegant, well-dressed people coming in, so there's obviously something going on here today. It seems to be still a government building. I'm not sure what it's used for, but yeah, and there we are. There's the palace, or the castle, in all its glory. I still think it's more of a castle than a palace, but that's just me. That's just my ignorance, I think. Right, let's head for the exit and find a place to have lunch. It's beautiful. Beautiful castle. As I say, it's got many different periods. Much of it's sort of Muslim, Christian, and then much of it is pretty modern. But I think it was around 1986. I'll investigate it further. But around 1986, they seem to have done a full restoration, and pretty good job on the whole, I would say. Yes, that was well worth the €7 entry fee. If you do come to Zaragoza, I would advise visiting the palace. It's not as large as it looks from outside, but it's worth it. And there's a lot in there. There's a lot I didn't really. I was in a bit of a. There's exhibitions in there as well as the castle. And at the moment, I don't know if it's permanent. There's a Goya exhibition at the moment. So yeah, I would definitely recommend. For €7, what's that? Just over £6. Well worth it. Well worth it. So that's a Zaragoza recommendation. Visit the palace. Although I don't know, I keep saying is it a castle, but I mean it's got the arrow slits in the towers, but the crenellations, the tops of the towers look a little bit different. I don't know if they've been added at a later date for show or if they're real. So yeah, I'll do a bit more research when I get a chance. Get on the old laptop and see what I can find out more about it. But yeah, highly recommended.